Hello, I am Jamal Sowell, and I serve as the Florida Secretary of Commerce and President and CEO of Enterprise Florida, the state of Florida's economic development arm. I'm excited to welcome you to the Veterans Florida Virtual Expo, since the veteran experience is personal to me. My grandfather served in World War II, my father served in Vietnam, and my brother served in Iraq, where he became 100% disabled. I served in the Marine Corps as an enlisted Marine and as an officer with a deployment to Afghanistan. I currently serve in the United States Navy Reserve. So I know that your sacrifices keep us free. So first and foremost, thank you for your service to our great nation.
Jamal Allen Sowell, no relation to Thomas Sowell, is a business executive in the state of Florida. He served as Florida Secretary of Commerce, serving as Chief Executive Officer of Enterprise Florida, Inc., EFI, the state's primary economic development agency under Governor Ron DeSantis. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Sowell assisted the governor keeping Florida businesses open during a national economic downturn. The DeSantis administration called Sowell's efforts to support the state's pro-business policy indispensable in making Florida the beacon of opportunity for the entire country. After being one of the longest-serving original cabinet members under DeSantis, Sowell resigned as Secretary of Commerce to attend military training for the United States Navy Reserve. Jamal Sowell is a sixth-generation Florida native, born in Orlando, Florida, to James and Latricia Sowell. Sowell's parents met at Florida A&M University, FAMU, where his father was the class of 1968 Army ROTC, Distinguished Military Graduate. Sowell is a proud monthly donor to FAMU. After the military, Jamal Sowell was selected by Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida to serve as the State Secretary of Commerce and CEO of Enterprise Florida, Inc., EFI. Jamal lives with his wife, a teacher who is a graduate of Alcorn State University and Florida A&M University. So let's get more information live. Editor roll clips. Fair use.
Before we start, just think about where you want to be in 10 to 20 years. I know as a freshman, when I came in the summer of 2000, I had no idea. I may have had something, a thought about it, but I didn't necessarily know how I would get there. I'll tell you about my background, what I did, and how I got to where I was able to go through. But also the most important thing was asking for help. So Dr. Jacobs mentioned Dr. David Colburn. I walked to his office freshman year and said, "I'm Jamal Sowell. Tell me about what you do." That was it. And I know it sounds pretty strange for some, but years later, when I was doing my president trustee, I was able to work with them. And administrators appreciate the boldness and also the professionalism of students who may not necessarily know what they want to do, but they're still learning. So my major was in religion. I love the topic of faith. Whether it was somebody from the Middle East, somebody from the backwoods of Georgia, whether it was somebody from Mississippi, or even the Southeast Asian islands. For me, the topic of faith was exciting to me because it allowed me to understand how people thought, allowed me to understand cultures and backgrounds. Perfect example. I'm not Jewish, but I learned some Hebrew. I did a semester in Israel, and then I would take classes about the languages and cultures, and that really catapulted me to a different realm. And for me, that's really what my college experience was about. So essentially, my parents are from the backwoods of Florida. It's about an hour north of here called Jasper, Florida. And then my parents met in college at Florida A&M University. And my mom is from Lake County, Florida. So they went to FAMU, and for them, because of their age, they didn't have the chance to go to integrated schools. I'm the youngest of four kids. So essentially, my parents graduated high school in 1964. Are we good? Yep, basically like in 1964. So they ended with the FAMU, then my dad did Vietnam. And then from there, he kind of lived around the world because he wanted to see the world. Because in a small city, people who left did very well. He just had a vision of seeing the world and really becoming a Renaissance man. So that's what I wanted to do. So when I got to UF in the summer of 2000, I said, well, how can I push myself to become better? How can I push myself to meet other people? So my freshman year, I joined the Asian Student Union, the Hispanic Student Association, and different groups. And people would ask me like, oh, this is interesting. Why are you here? I joined the Jewish Student Union. And they'll say, are you an Ethiopian Jew? Like, no, I'm just here to learn. And for me, doing that makes so many friends who I now do business with today. Because of that, I say this thing that I've never, every job I've ever applied to, I never got, which means I must be a pretty bad interview. But every job I got, I never applied because of a friendship or somebody I met freshman, sophomore, junior year. Yes, it was uncomfortable to be in a room and people may wondering, why is he here? Why is he at our meeting? But to me, that pushed me to really want to learn about different cultures, different backgrounds. My brothers are Christian ministers, and my mom raised us to do that. But I wanted to really expand my horizons just to learn about different people. So majoring in religion taught me everything about whether it was Judaism, whether it was about Islam, whether it was about the LDS church. And for me, that really expanded my mind to want to learn more. The impact of sports on our state is so important. I grew up a FSU fan. And the reason why I'm saying this is because even though I went to UF and I was happy about the win, anytime UF does well, FSU does well, UCF does well, that's free press for our state. Somebody who is in California or Massachusetts, a high tax state, Connecticut, a high tax and high reg state, when people see that on TV, that gives somebody, that may give somebody the inspiration to visit Florida, the inspiration to come to Florida, or the thought about why Florida is so uniquely different than any other state in the U.S. So, in my title, some call me president or CEO, some call me the Secretary of Commerce. But for those who may know my background or not, my major was in religion. I studied different faiths and different backgrounds. So you don't have to call me Secretary or President, just call me Brother Florida, because I'm the one who's making the sale every single day. I'm the one who's out there telling people why Florida is so unique than any other place. So my brothers were preachers. We were raised to be pastors, and I got into college, and I didn't necessarily want to do that because I saw the drama behind the scene. So I always tell people why I appreciate that, I support it. But then I got a mentor who saw something in me, and that guy was named Paul Anderson, and he got me involved in politics with Jeb Bush and around the state of Florida. And now I use those same skills of growing up in Florida, being born and raised here, to make the sell about why Florida is special for businesses, but also why we're here at a unique time with a governor who was the first non-baby boomer governor, someone who thinks differently, someone who thinks outside the box. A perfect example of that was earlier, Eric said on the panel about the environment, he said, we take the partisanship away, when it comes to certain issues. And 20 years ago, for a Republican to talk about the environment was just almost taboo. This is something that you just don't talk about. But we have a governor now, a new generation, a new thought process, who's doing things and telling us why it's so important to talk about the environment, because that's attached to business. When we have tourists come, when we have people who come for the good weather, we want to make sure that they have good beaches. We want to make sure that they have great environments, and also that allows us to promote our unemployment rate, to promote everything that we have that is special. So right now, as you see, the unemployment rate is low at 3.2%. Our economy has produced 228,000 net new jobs over the past year. 127 million visitors to Florida, spent an estimated $88.6 billion with us last year, and we had a record of 68.9 million visitors in the first 6 months of 2019. And I said that for a reason. We are really intertwined with Visit Florida. So when they are attacked, that impacts what I do. For us, we sell the state as the premier destination for business, but they sell the state as the premier destination for visitors and tourism. So many people, before they even start a business here, what they do, they come here for a vacation. As they come for vacation, I get to then tell them all about the great things that the state of Florida has. And it excites me, but it does sadden me when Visit Florida gets attacked.
Hey guys, it's Jose, your regular Joe Blow again, keeping an eye out and my ears open to American history in the making. Guys, and today we are acknowledging Jamal Sowell. When I first researched him, by the way, do your own research as well. Let's continue. I really thought with his qualifications that he was related to the genius Thomas Sowell, and found out he wasn't, and it did not change my attitude towards Jamal Sowell. Actually, much respect, sir. Thank you for your continued service to the state of Florida and the United States. You are a true patriot. Thank you. And guys, thank you as well for the support. Always. I'll continue to thrive, to do my best to bring you the best. Guys, stay free.
It ain't hard to tell. I excel, then prevail.